Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
That is true.
Today we're going to be talking about the third serial of the fourth season, The Power of the Daleks, which consists of 6 episodes. They aired November 5th, 1966 to December 10th, 1966, and they don't have titles, and that has been a Joe fact.
Joe Facts!
And this is a special episode. This is the first serial of the Second Doctor, and we have a special guest with us to talk about this momentous occasion. Recurring favorite.
Would you like some tea?
Yeah, it's the Dalek from our opening song.
I am a Dalek. I will be your father. Would you like to see the wine list?
I don't feel like I trust this Dalek, to be honest.
Dalek, what is your name?
I am a Dalek.
What is your name?
I am a Dalek. I do not need a name. I am a Dalek.
Daleks don't have names.
Daleks have names.
No, only like the cool ones have names. This clearly isn't a cool one.
I am a Dalek. We are all the cool ones.
But not cool enough to have a name.
You're not cool enough to have a name.
Oh, you've hurt its feelings.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dalek.
Apology accepted.
Okay, time out.
Joe's done. He
No,
can't use anymore.
I'm just wondering, are you doing this character the entire podcast?
What character? I am a Dalek.
We did not have any discussions beforehand about what the extent of this would be.
Hey guys, I'm here too.
Oh yeah, Vince is here. Vincent E.L.
I was gonna make a thing of it, but you know.
Did you just regenerate into the Second Doctor from the Dalek?
No, I just got here.
Oh,
What Dalek?
the Dalek
You
left?
must have just missed him.
Yeah.
You must have been leaving as you were coming in.
That's weird. You'd think I would have noticed a Dalek.
To be fair, that happens a lot with Daleks.
Yeah.
The people usually happens the other way around.
Yeah, people usually are hiding from the Dalek in plain sight, but this time I guess the Dalek's hiding from you in plain sight.
That would make sense.
Have you looked under, chairs and behind desks and tables and such?
Hang on, I'll go check.
Is anything happening in here?
Dalek, are you back?
I am back, yes.
Are you hiding from Vince?
What is a Vince?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question. We don't know.
We haven't quite been able to figure it out yet. Pretty sure he's a person who makes videos and music and things.
He has a face?
Then he must be exterminated.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, he's cool.
Is he a Dalek?
What about, the tea and shit? What happened to,
Alright, I am your servant.
Also, I'm pretty sure, didn't you guys collab on our theme song?
Yeah, I thought you guys knew each other.
I have to go.
Hey guys, so I didn't find any Daleks. I guess we're safe or something?
Dude, he was literally just here while you were gone.
No, just that doesn't make any sense. I was just outside. I was just outside the internet, and I just got back in the internet, and I did not see a Dalek on the way in.
I'm starting to think this is like a classic Clark Kent Superman situation.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's right. Because I guess both of you wear glasses.
Wait, the Dalek wears glasses?
No, I wear glasses and Clark Kent wears glasses, so clearly I'm not Superman. Much like Superman these days.
That is very true. So anyway, hi Vince.
Hi, how you been?
Welcome back.
to the show.
It's been a while.
Don't.
It's been a while.
Rah. And what's been going on lately? Besides apparently being infested with invisible Daleks.
Once again, I don't know what you're talking about. Not a whole lot has been going on with me. I have been trapped in my own head, thinking about stories I would like to tell, and thinking about how I would like to tell them, and thinking I'm never going to get to tell those stories.
Well, tell them.
No.
Go, tell one right now.
Show Solutions will do it.
That-
Do the thing.
No, I mean, I was writing a screenplay, and then I keep thinking like, oh, I know what to do with this, and then I keep thinking I don't know what to do with this, and then I think, well, there's really no point because I'm not gonna get to shoot it anyway, you know.
That's not true. You might be able to one day.
I'd have to finish it first, I guess. I guess I'm just making excuses.
And also, you have been, I think since the last time you were on, you've had one, if not two, new Ill Eden tracks.
That is true. We have started doing that a bit more again.
Let's see, there was Kaiju, right?
Yeah, there was Kaiju, and then we did another international random rap session called Saying We Rap Great.
Spoilers, guys, they do.
It's true. They do rap great.
And we've got more stuff coming up.
That's exciting. I really enjoy Ill Eden.
We've got at least one more track written but not recorded.
Any, like, spoilers or clues as to what the subject matter might be?
No subject matter, really. It's just kind of random raps. We do mostly that when we don't have any ideas. And we mostly don't have any ideas, so...
Kaiju, though, had a very specific...
That was an idea, yeah. That kind of came out of just the beat felt kaiju-ish, so we started writing about it.
Funny, it didn't sound kaiju-ish.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely
Joe.
not.
No.
No.
No. I'm with Toni on this one.
In fact, Joe, just leave. We've got this.
All right, bye.
So, the power of the Daleks.
All right, the power of the Daleks.
The thing we're here to talk about today.
Let's dive right in.
Let's talk about how excellent it was. It was
enjoyed
excellent.
it. First off, this is an entirely missing serial. It's the first serial of the second Doctor. It's got Daleks in it. And we watched at least 3 different types of reconstructions in the process of getting through this serial.
Sure, we did.
Accidentally. Well, once was on purpose, once was an accident.
Once was on purpose and we didn't like it.
I watched one reconstruction, the regular kind with the pictures and the sound and the scrolling text, and then I forgot all about it, and so I listened to an audio reconstruction with narration by Tom Baker today, and I have forgotten most of it.
And you didn't take any notes, right? This is your first noteless...
No, this time I decided not to take any notes, because it's a reconstruction, and I didn't feel like going through a reconstruction while taking notes. That would be too much to...
Is this your first recon?
Well, no, but it's my first, completely missing serial that I've been on the podcast for. I think I've been on before when it's been, one missing episode or something.
We watched the regular reconstruction for most of it. The second episode, we tried the narration one. Did not care for it. It's weird being in the first person because it's from the viewpoint of the Doctor, but he doesn't really say what's happening. He just sort of says what he's thinking.
It's not like it's bridging narration, and it ends up being just kind of confusing.
It is a little bit confusing, yeah. I did notice, and I should mention this, in case any listeners are unfamiliar with things that happen later on in Doctor Who, which I can't imagine they aren't if they're listening this far, because a lot of things have been spoiled, technically, about modern Who and just facts about Doctor Who. So, but just, if somebody has a friend who's watching it from the beginning and doesn't want to be spoiled on anything and isn't listening to the podcast, then I would not recommend listening to the Tom Baker reconstruction, because he mentions Gallifrey, he mentions other regenerations, and,
See, yeah, that's weird. I don't care for that.
Because he talks about it as oh, this is a memory. He's talking about oh, I was in my second regeneration, or my second incarnation, or whatever, and he talks about Gallifrey, and he says the word Time Lord a number of times.
Yeah,
that
I don't
doesn't
like that.
seem right.
So yeah, it's for spoilers. But I mean, you guys are doing the same thing.
There's a lot that I feel like it's just general knowledge.
I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, you know what a Time Lord is. I mean, we're called the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Yeah. But I mean, it is conceivable that somebody would have found the podcast going, oh, maybe this is a good way to get into Doctor Who, which I know nothing about.
That's true.
But you've already spoiled pretty much everything that he spoils.
We've already ruined that aspect of the podcast. We've already ruined it for them.
They picked the wrong podcast.
The third type of reconstruction we watched was just a normal reconstruction, but instead of the scrolling text, they had like randomly animated bits, like that, but like paper doll cutouts.
I don't think that was one was my favorite.
So they just like sort of like glide across the screen.
Or like their one arm will like move up.
A few episodes ago, I watched a reconstruction that was done in CGI, and it was crappy CGI, but it was kind of fun to watch anyway. Polly looked scary. Like, a lot of the faces looked like, okay, like passable, crappy animated faces, but Polly looked straight up scary. Like, there was something wrong.
So, this episode starts where the last episode ends. It's the last shot of Hartnell.
And this is episode 1, Renewal. That's what I'm calling it. Because I'm naming the episodes.
I thought you were going to call it the Renewedest.
All right, it's the Renewedest now. This one, I didn't really give it as many, like, goofy names.
I've got the title for the next one. I've forgotten what it was, but I'll remember it. I have it in the back of my head somewhere.
There is the regeneration again, and your typical sort of futzing around stuff that you get with regenerations, I feel like.
And he staggers up, and he looks through his coat, and he finds he changes his clothes, and he finds a flute.
Recorder.
A recorder, yeah, not a flute. I'm Swedish, it's the same word here.
A flute and a recorder are the same thing in Sweden?
Well, they're different types of flutes in Sweden.
That's confusing.
A flute is a good sounding instrument. A recorder is a shitty sounding instrument.
Did you have to
given
take
to small
recorder?
children? Yeah, I did.
Did everyone have to take recorder? Why did we all have to do that?
I didn't have to take recorder, but I have a recorder.
Well, but you're Swedish.
I can't play it, though.
No one can.
I learned hot cross buns.
That's not technically true.
That's it.
I heard someone on the NPR play the shit out of a recorder, and it blew me away. Like, he was playing, like, legitimately good music on a
Yeah,
recorder.
it's not that. I don't think the instrument is shitty. It's that it's given to small children.
There's nothing wrong with the instrument. It's just a hard instrument to play well.
Yeah.
And we give it to small kids, and they're like, here, learn music. And you're like, okay.
Let's burn that desire out of you real quick.
I guess that's an American thing?
Kids played recorders in Sweden, too. It's pretty much everywhere, but I don't think everyone's, like, forced to do it. It's more like...
What about Sweden 1?
Kids choose to do it, I guess. What?
You said they play it in Sweden 2. What about Sweden 1?
No, just in Sweden 2. And Sweden 5. That's a moon.
But yeah, he puts on his I guess he's thinner than Hartnell, though it doesn't look it because his ring falls off.
Well, yeah, his ring falls off, but that also,
Ben's like,
he
if
says
you
that
can
his
wear
jacket
this...
is too tight. So, he's got skinny fingers.
He's got Trump hands. And Ben's like, if you are the doctor, then this ring should fit your finger, even though he's clearly completely changed his entire body.
So stupid.
Ben's an idiot.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
And Ben says something about, like, you can't be the doctor, you don't fit into the doctor's clothes. And the doctor's like, has some line about a butterfly fitting into its chrysalis. And it's like, yeah, Ben, God.
You moron. But yeah, we get one last peek at Hartnell when...
Did you turn off the oven?
Oh shit, that scared the fuck out of me.
Oh shit, is that a Dalek?
What the fuck?
The Dalek's back.
Yeah, I see that. There's a Dalek here.
Hello, I am a Dalek. Would you like some tea?
I don't think we're going to fall for that. There's like 3 different episodes where that happens.
Right. I'm not taking anything from you.
We've seen the show. There's like... There was the first time the Daleks were on, and that happened. And there's the later episode that's spoilers with the 11th Doctor, where there's tea.
The serial we're talking about now, The Power of the Daleks, I feel like the one from the 11th Doctor era
It's
is
sort of
very
influenced.
Yeah, the Victory of the Daleks seems very similar to this one, but this one is actually better than Victory of the Daleks.
And I feel like the Daleks themselves seem a lot more like in their first appearance in that they need static electricity.
And that they're also scary instead of played for
Yes.
comedy.
I mentioned that when we were watching it, and just said, well, we don't know when this is in their timeline.
Yeah, this could be before they got the... Because in...
Whatever workaround they came up with. Was it in the chase?
No, it was in the Dalek Invasion of Earth. They had like little backpacks on. Like little square boxes on the back of them that were intended to be their like power source sort of thing. So I guess this is before then.
Yeah, these might be earlier Daleks.
So no tea then?
Yeah, no tea. I don't think anybody wants any tea.
Actually, I'd take a cup.
I don't drink tea.
I know, but I've never been...
Would you like poison with that?
No.
Just a sec.
I don't know how he's going to get it here. We're in 2 different countries.
Well, it's in the internet.
No, it's E.T.
God damn it.
Joe, no,
E.T.
No, no. Joe, no, and it's not IT either.
I'm out of puns then.
This planet's name is Vulcan. Can we talk about that, or is that too soon? Where's Spock?
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, because Nero blew it up, or whatever happened. Did that happen?
Yeah, in
I don't know.
Star Trek,
I don't
the movie,
remember Star Trek at all.
not the motion picture, but the.
Yeah, Nero made no sense. I didn't get his motivation at all, or his plan, or why he did it the way he did it, or why any of it. He was a weird character. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a movie where there's a planet called Vulcan.
No, we're talking about a TV show.
Well, it's a serial that's like 3 hours long, so I think we can might as well call it a movie. Except it doesn't actually move, so I guess we can't, because it's missing.
The Doctor's pretty typically, like, disoriented.
We say typically, but this is the first time it's ever happened.
And it's very interesting to me that they didn't just go like, it's a weird science thing. I changed my face, but I'm fine. And, like, continued playing the same character as Hartnell. They did not have to make that choice at this point.
And I feel like this is the first instance of the Doctor being kind of weird. Like, Hartnell is never really had that sort of impish sort of weirdness.
No, he had a little bit of eccentricity, but not like...
Not alien.
Not alien. I think this is kind of where they kind of decided that, maybe we should play with the whole him being alien thing.
A lot of this reminds me of, like, sort of more like the 11th or 10th Doctor, sort of just...
There were particular
weirdness.
Lines where I was like, I could hear, like, 11 saying that.
That's funny you say that, because Matt Smith has cited Patrick Troughton as his favorite Doctor, whom he has pulled the most from. So
I can, like, see that in the first episode.
We get one last... he looks in the mirror to see his face, and we get one last glimpse at Hartnell.
He's rummaging around and stuff, and he grabs a recorder, and he grabs a diary.
500-year diary.
he says before he finds the diary, the Doctor kept a diary, right?
Yes, he keeps referring to Hartnell as the Doctor. Polly's kind of like, well, you're clearly the Doctor, like, something weird happened, but you're clearly the Doctor, and Ben's like, I don't know, his face is different, so how can he be the same guy?
Well, let's try this ring.
He's intentionally confusing them, or rather testing them, I think. At least that's kind of what I got from first I got the sense of that, but then I listened to the reconstruction with Tom Baker, and he kind of talks a little bit about what he was doing, so to speak.
That actually might have been helpful to listen to.
Wait, so what does he say?
I don't remember. He said something to the effect of, like, he was testing them or something like that.
Testing them for what?
I don't know.
I know that later, like when he's not talking and he's just playing his recorder instead of talking, I do know that was mostly because he was not sure if they were being listened in on. Like there was listening devices in the room, which we find out later. And he's like, yeah, that's why I was being very hush-hush. Shut the fuck up, Ben. God damn it.
But he finds his diary, he finds his recorder. Yes, that. He's very much like, all right, let's go.
And just so he's like walking out of the TARDIS while reading the diary, almost
not looking at anything.
Yeah, almost falling in pools of mercury.
And Ben and Polly are like, well, you can't just go. Like, shit, you have to explain to us what happened. We don't understand. And he's like, come on, adventure, let's do it.
He does this weird thing with a tape measure and jumping a rock.
Wait, is this before or after we've seen the death scene?
The death scene's coming up as soon as he jumps over the rock.
Isn't that just when they find the guy?
He's alive at first.
Yeah, he's like, oh, thank goodness you're here, and then dies.
Yeah, but there's a scene where he actually gets murdered.
Yeah,
right. That's this scene.
Oh, I thought that was an earlier scene, and then we find him later, and he's not dead yet or something.
They're there for it.
Okay, so they see him get murdered?
The Doctor does.
So he sees who does it.
He doesn't see who does it. He gets shot, I think. You know what? I'm not sure anymore. Okay, maybe, the guy gets shot, then they find the body.
Oh, you're right.
That's how I remember it. I remember there being a scene of the guy getting killed, and then they found him.
You are correct.
And the guy who got killed was from Earth, because his first line is, I'm from Earth. He doesn't say it like that, but I had to say it like that because that's a catchphrase of a character on a podcast that I like. I'm from Earth. That's Sparks, Nevada, by the way.
He shows up and it's kind of like, all right, I'm here. And then, yes, immediately gets killed.
Yeah.
And the Doctor finds him and is like, hey, this guy has a badge.
And it says Examiner from Earth.
Literally, I think like the scrolling text was like, the Doctor starts to rifle through the pockets of the corpse. Like,
because that's what he does.
And then he gets pistol whipped.
The Doctor is a D&D player.
He gets pistol whipped by the guy who killed the other fella. I guess in the skirmish of the dude killing the other guy, he grabbed
A button.
a button off of his clothes, his space clothes. And then 2 other people in spacesuits. I don't even know if they're really spacesuits, but they find the doctor and are going to take him to the town. Then we cut to a scientist who's working on a metal capsule that they have found on the planet. And it's a special metal that they don't know what it is. It's very resistant to all sorts of stuff. And this scientist, his name is Lesterton.
Not to be confused with Chesterton.
Or Chesterfield. Or
Chatterton.
Or Chatterton.
Wait, did they find this thing in a cave?
I don't remember. I think it was in some sort of indentation in the earth.
I do think it was underground.
I don't know if it was necessarily in a cave, though. I'm not sure. I think it was like maybe in like a tunnel that was caused by crash landing.
You just made that up.
No, that's the vibe I got from what I vaguely remember hearing.
Do they at any point in this serial name the metal that this thing is made of?
You know,
No.
I don't think they do, no.
Because Tom Baker does. He calls it Dalekanium, which has also been pronounced Dalekanium by characters at other points, I believe. But he calls it Dalekanium, and he says it a lot.
That's so weird. It's weird that there's, like, if you listen to it, there's weird details that shouldn't be in there yet.
Right, because they weren't created. Like, we didn't have the name Regeneration yet. We didn't have other things. Toni did something, and then I lost my train of thought. What else did we not have? Oh, Time Lords or Gallifrey or any of that.
Yeah, any of that stuff.
See, that's why I don't like that. I don't know. It feels weird, like if you're going through it in order. And
Feels like lying.
I mean, it's not. It's just you're getting knowledge ahead of time, I guess. Spoiling itself, in a way.
The
So-
scientist is doing experiments on this
the
thing. He
thing,
wants to get
yes.
inside the capsule.
Well, he's already gotten inside the capsule. We'll later find out.
Right.
But he's got an assistant, Janley.
Also, there's some talk about stuff that I don't understand, and I continue to not understand all throughout the serial.
About the revolution.
Yeah, like, just, it's like very casual of like, well, I don't like giving you room for, I don't know. Like, she's talking about the rebels,
Uh-huh.
and like the one guy knows about it. And it's just like, I don't mind giving you guys, like, a room for it every now and again, but, like, I also don't support it. And it's like, what does that mean? Why are you so casual of, like, yeah, I let the rebels meet in the break room every now and again, but...
One thing that stood out to me is a thing that doesn't get mentioned much, or at all. Well, not soon enough anyway. There's this piece of information that the Doctor basically withholds for no reason, and I feel like if he just said it, that would possibly get people to listen a little bit to him when he says Daleks are dangerous. Because he keeps saying Daleks are dangerous, and he doesn't ever say, this is actually not a robot. There's a brain creature inside of it that is lying to you. This is not a computer. Do not trust it. He doesn't say that. He just says don't trust it. It's dangerous. It's a Dalek. He doesn't ever explain what a Dalek is. Until, like, the end, when it's too late.
It is kind of brought up at the very, very end, and I know I'm jumping up, by Polly, because Polly's like, yeah, you didn't do a good job of, like, convincing them that the Daleks are bad. It's like you didn't know what you were doing. And the Doctor just kind of laughs. And, like, that's the end.
Yeah, that might be the writers kind of noticing, oh, maybe we kind of missed a couple of opportunities for the Doctor to actually do something. I guess he's new.
But yeah, Ben and Polly both just kind of go like, yeah, you kind of did a shit job, actually. Like, it was almost like you didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, because there's one point where the Doctor does say, it's not a machine. But that's, like, at the end where he says that. He should have said earlier, like, dude, this is basically Krang.
Somehow we noticed that Quinn is missing a button. Quinn is one of the dudes at the place. But he's just a misdirect. He's not actually the guy who killed the other dude. Because that's what the Doctor's trying to figure out, I think, is who killed...
Who killed the inspector.
The inspector.
Who he's now
and killed
impersonating.
the examiner.
Examiner, yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor is. And that's what the Doctor's doing, is examining everything, and he keeps going, I have a badge! And it's hilarious every single time. That's a very 11 thing, I feel like. It's just that I get to look at things. I have access. I have a badge. But yeah, the Doctor and Ben and Polly sneak into the capsule.
And there are
Daleks in it. There's
dead
3
Daleks.
of them. There are 3 Daleks. And that's the end of episode 1, the Renewedist.
Isn't there like one
Yeah, there's like one like brainy one.
outside of its thing and it's like it's like slithering away?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The bad guy who's not a Dalek, his name is Bragan, right?
Yes.
He's the scientist, right?
No.
No, he's the other guy.
Yes.
Yeah, Lesterton's the scientist, Janley is his assistant. Bragan is the bad guy who's trying to become the governor. The governor is Hessler, I think. Bragan and Janley are teamed up for the revolution.
And Ben is the guy who calls people governor. Which makes things a little bit confusing when people start talking about a governor, a person who wants to be a governor, the idea of being a governor, and governor. It's like, how do you keep track of all these fucking governors?
Too many governors.
It's a governor-palooza, a governanza.
Episode 2, The Servant of Vulcan.
Now, it's episode 2, Bragan 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I will say, this time I'm gonna have to side with Joe.
Really?
Yes.
Come on, it's Bragan 2? Come on. Come on. Come on, Bragan 2, Electric Boogaloo. Come on. This is the only time that reference is relevant. Come on. Come on.
So, The Servant of Vulcan.
No, that is not the title.
Oh, you don't know anything.
Are we gonna listen to a Dalek?
I think he was talking to me.
So we find out that Lesterton, they get away. The Daleks aren't really doing jack shit. So
It's just that one, and it kind of slithered away, and the rest of them are like, they're dead. They're not moving.
They don't have the power of the Daleks.
All right.
Okay, you did it? You're not gonna do it again, right?
No,
You got it out of your system?
probably.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Good.
So we find out Lesterton has been experimenting on the Dalek, trying to bring it to life.
Which is such a terrible, like, I just found this weird-ass thing. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna bring it back to life, and obviously it's just a robot, and obviously I'm gonna be able to tell it to, like, there's the scene where he's, like, fiddling with it, and he's like, I don't know, I guess the sucker arm's probably for, like, moving shit. I don't know what the weird egg batter one is for, but no worries. It's just going about things so obliviously.
And he's not alarmed by anything that the Dalek says.
The Daleks are so bad at being sneaky.
Yeah, they're terrible at it. And this guy doesn't notice. There's this thing he starts doing. Is this now where he starts testing the Dalek or asking questions?
I mean, well, first the doctor's like, destroy the Daleks, and everyone's like, no, fuck you.
We like them. We just found them. We're not gonna get rid of them.
He's says this is his servant. He's probably a servant.
Is that the?
And then
is
we
that
get-
the end of this episode? The cliffhanger of the second episode is the Dalek going, "I am your servant."
Yes.
That was so unnerving. More than in like almost any other episode. The Daleks were so scary. They freaked me out.
They did do that in the first time Daleks were on, right? In the first Dalek serial, the Daleks at first were like, would you like some tea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a thing, right?
Yeah, that's something that they do.
I don't think they were as hardcore about it as they are in this one.
Well,
but yeah.
in the first, I think it was mostly the.
I don't think they were mostly like, we are your servant, more as we are gracious hosts.
Yes, because they were like that, the Thals, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna give you leafy vegetables, and everything's great. Things are gonna be great. So
They were more benevolent and less servants.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, that's what they were trying to portray themselves as anyway. But before we get to like all that, that's when the doctor finds the listening device inside the piece of fruit and smashes it. And then he's like, guys, I was tricking you guys the whole time because I knew this was a thing.
Because he was like, they were asking him questions like, what's going on? Why are you being so weird? And he's just like playing his recorder and being weird. Yeah, like that.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
And he shows them the bug and was like, Ben's like, oh, that's why you're being all weird. And the doctor's like, yep.
Dumbass. Of course. Was that not obvious by the fact that I was just sitting around going...
And then Ben's like, all right, well, cool, let's leave. And the doctor's like, God damn it, Ben, no, we
There
have
are
people
Daleks
to save.
here.
We have to
can't
stop.
just go.
Why are you so the worst? Why are you the worst? And then he's like, well, I got this plan. I'm gonna get Earth. I'm gonna contact Earth and get them to back me. Be like, yeah, we're with this examiner guy. These Daleks are bad.
Which
That's
I don't know how that was supposed to work. Because he's not the examiner.
but he has a badge. And then we get the reanimation of the Dalek, and they're testing it out.
And it's
and then
creepy because, like, they're, like, slowly giving power to it. And so, like, it very slowly starts powering up. Like, first, like, the little suction cup arm moves, then the little eyes. Like, it's very slowly coming back to life.
and it starts like following one of them. I can't remember his name. I want to say Fresno. Resno.
Resno? Yeah. And yeah. And
Or
he's
is it
like an
Fresno?
assistant,
I don't know.
think.
Trent Reznor.
Yes.
So yeah, he's like an assistant and he's helping and the
Getting
eye
freaked out by
stalk
it.
is following him and he's like, it's watching me. And like the one scientist is like, it's a robot. It's too stupid to be watching you.
I always feel like the Daleks watching me.
I've got no privacy. Uh-oh.
But
That's
yeah,
the power of the Daleks.
He just keeps insisting that this thing is like, there's no reason for him to know this. That it's like, well, it's not smart enough. It can't be. It's just a robot.
And then it shoots Fresno.
And he's dead.
Well, Janley tells, he's just unconscious. We'll get him to a doctor. He'll be fine. We'll just take this gun stick off and we'll be fine.
That alone should be reason enough to be like, okay, maybe the doctor's right. Maybe there's something to this thing being dangerous. It sent at least one person to the hospital. Maybe we should proceed with caution.
Yeah, maybe we should be careful about this Dalek thing that somebody came here and said, hey, this is a Dalek. I know what this thing is called, and it is a dangerous thing, and you shouldn't trust it, and it lies to you. And then it shoots someone, and they're like,
We'll just take the gun off.
I like how even though they're like, we don't believe the Daleks are bad, they still are like, we're gonna call them Daleks.
That is true. I didn't realize that. But they do. Well, but the Daleks call themselves Daleks.
Do they?
There's that one scene
Then
where...
why don't they believe the doctor?
I don't, because they're stupid.
So, here's what happened right now, just now. What happened was, recently I've been having some, connection problems. The router is next door. Also next door, 2 sleeping persons. Also next door, 2 barky dogs. So I had to sneak in, silence the dogs as quickly as possible, give them candy, sneak down into the basement, unplug the router, wait 10 seconds, plug it back in, sneak back up, sneak out, lock the door, sneak back over here.
This isn't like, you're not like stealing Wi-Fi from your neighbor and...
No. It's a shared network between the 2 houses. It's totally above board. Everything is totally normal. Other than the fact that I had to sneak in.
So you sneaked in, snapped the dog's necks.
No, they were barking, so I basically went up to them and did the scratch their faces thing. And then I gave them some doggy treats.
I have to ask, do you have dog treats just specifically for that?
Well, there are dog treats basically next to the door.
So they have dog treats specifically for that.
Yes, they do. And I have a key, totally legal.
So you didn't just sneak into your neighbor's house to reset their router?
No.
I bet someone has at some point.
To
Where
the power
were
of the-
we?
Okay, so where we left off, they were testing on the Dalek to do stuff, and then it killed Fresno. Meanwhile, the doctor goes to the communications place to give a shout out to Earth, and there he finds a radio mechanic that is unconscious. I don't recall if he's dead or not. I think he's just unconscious. And then he turns the lights on, and Quinn is in there with a wrench. Very suspicious. Or not wrench, pliers. Sorry, it was pliers. Because the communications...
I don't remember who any of these people are.
Quinn is the guy that gets framed for being the guy who killed the examiner, basically. He has pliers and the communications board has been cut, so there's no way to get a message to Earth. So, and then Quinn is detained and being like, hey, you're the bad guy. And then Ben is like, yeah, I never liked that Quinn guy. And Polly's like, he's trustworthy. You just get this feeling about people.
Which neither one of them have any reason to have any opinion about him at all.
Like, they've barely interacted with this guy.
But they're both very certain about it.
Yeah.
Polly's like, no, he's a good guy. He's been framed. I don't know what's going on, but we gotta figure it out. And Ben's like, he clearly did it. Neither of them have enough information to make those calls at all.
So then,
Polly's right, though, you guys.
Polly's right.
Because
yeah.
Ben can't be.
Then, the gun stick, they remove the gun stick from the Dalek, but Janley takes it.
Yes.
And you're like, what's up with that? That seems sketchy.
That's weird.
And then
She's being super sketchy.
Then they're having the inquiry for Quinn, like the trial, I guess, of sorts. And that's when the Dalek enters, and the first time that the doctor sees the moving Dalek, and
the scientist is like, I fixed it! And the doctor's like, why?
And it seems like the Dalek recognizes the doctor, which is a bit weird.
It does seem like it.
It trains his eye on the doctor. It's eye stalk.
It doesn't it very clearly immediately doesn't like him, I feel like.
Isn't that just because the doctor doesn't like the Dalek? The doctor is the one person who suspects the Dalek of ill intent. So the Dalek is like, this guy's onto me.
I think this is why one of the scenes where, like, I think the scientist is like, well, I'm human, you're just a robot. Or, like, the doctor, this is one of the times where the Dalek says it's a Dalek. He's like, I'm a Dalek, Daleks are
That's the next episode.
different than humans. Different. I wasn't gonna say better, because I'm your servant.
Daleks are superior to you. Daleks are different from different types of people than people. I'm going over here now.
Yeah, that was basically it. That's coming up in the next episode?
Yeah, because this is the one where he just says, I am your servant, over and
that's
over
how
again.
it ends. Ugh!
It's very creepy.
Very creepy.
The cliffhangers in this serial are all very creepy.
And that's the thing. It's different from Victory of the Daleks, where you're kind of like, all right, what are you doing? Stop it. It lasts for so long in this one, the charade of being servants, where you're like, it's unsettling the whole time. Where you're just like, what are they planning? I don't know. I don't know what they're planning. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're freaking me out, those Daleks. I know they're up to something, and it's bad.
That episode, because I actually saw this, the Power of the Daleks before I saw Victory of the Daleks. And when we watched Victory of the Daleks, I was like, this reminds me a lot of Power of the Daleks, because it's got the
So
same
anyway,
sort of
that's
thing.
the end of that episode.
And we're now into episode 3, The Disarming of the Daleks.
Didn't they already take the arm off the Dalek?
To be
Yeah.
fair, that fits in with patterns of naming, of how episodes have been named in the past. Because they disarm the rest of the Dalek. There are those other two. They disarm them as well. Or the Dalek disarms them.
Yeah, the Dalek disarms the other Daleks to be like, yeah, we're totes, my goats, cool, we just want to help. But
Although he turns on the other Daleks without asking.
And they're building
And
shit.
the doctor's like, see, they're bad. You didn't tell him to do that, and he did it anyway. And the scientist is like, but I was gonna. So, really, they just helped me out before I even asked them to. These things are great. Think about what they'll do for our economy. We'll be able to make so much shit.
Is this before or after he starts testing the Dalek, asking questions?
This is, I believe, after.
After.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to talk about those questions that he starts asking the Dalek.
The science questions?
Yeah, because it's like
Not impressive?
he asks the Dalek for unimpressive basic information.
Yes. And he's like, and it happens so fast.
It's not like he's asking it to do calculations. It's not like he's asking it to make predictions or like give some obscure or like give him some logical problem to solve. Instead, he's just going like, oh, what's the fucking chemical this and that? You know, and he goes, fucking CO2 and shit. It's like, no. That's not a question you ask a computer. That's a question you fucking Google. If like, yeah, that's asking a computer technically, but that's information that people have put there. That's not the computer doing any actual work. That's just stored information.
And I wonder if part of that is us like watching this episode from the future where we can just Google shit of being like, that's not impressive. It would take me about the same time to Google it. I don't know why they're so impressed.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reason why it's not impressive is because it's not doing anything. It's just reading up information that...
It's not a test of logic.
Yeah, it's not using logic. Like, if he would have given him logical, like, problems to solve, then that would have been like, oh, this is an impressive computer.
But I think he says, he's like, there must be like a huge store of knowledge there. Because I don't think at this point he's like, they don't have any logic. He doesn't think they can think at all.
But if you're testing something for a huge store of knowledge, you don't ask about shit that's on the fucking periodic table. You ask for obscure knowledge. You ask for shit that wouldn't be like the first stuff you put into a bank of knowledge.
I mean, I think we can all agree this guy is a shit scientist.
That's what I'm saying. He's a shitty scientist. And not just for trusting the fucking Dalek.
Just his methods are questionable.
Everything about this guy is like, he's like a character from The Flash.
And also, it's like, the Daleks are like, yeah, we'll build you some cool shit, we'll get you some blueprints pulled up, just get us some material.
Just get us
and he's
these
like,
things.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a great idea. I don't see how that could go wrong at all.
And yeah, they're not even like specific. They're just like, we want these specific materials, we're not going to tell you why. And he's like, okay.
Even though, and this is important, when the doctor gets there, he says, that is a Dalek. And that thing has not yet awakened. It has not informed other people of being a Dalek. When it wakes up, it says, I am a Dalek. That should be a red flag, like, oh, that's what the doctor said. Maybe there's something to what he's saying. That should be a clue to a scientist. Just saying.
I feel like we haven't talked enough about how great the Doctor is.
The Doctor is great.
Because he hasn't done a lot.
Well, he's done a lot, just sort of goofing around, though.
Yeah, and it's hard
figuring things out.
Because this, like, serial doesn't exist. You know he's doing a lot of, like, silly nonsense that you can't see.
Yeah, he's shuffling about and doing a little dance at one point. Or primitive dance was how Tom Baker described it. He was shuffling about in something that passed for a sort of primitive dance or something like that when he was playing the recorder.
He did have that really cool part because, like, at the beginning when the Dalek enters and he's all like, I don't like the Daleks, and everybody else like, nah, Daleks be cool. And then the governor gives Lesterton permission to continue work on the Daleks. And then, but the Doctor's like, hey, if you are my servant, immobilize yourself. And so it shuts down. Because it like hesitates for a minute. It's like, fuck. And then it just shuts down. But then as soon as the Doctor leaves, it comes back on. It's like, I can't serve humans if I'm immobilized, and he's not in here anymore, so...
He's wrong. I won't serve him. I only serve you, the scientist. But no, he has this very serious, the Doctor, has this very, like, serious delivery. I don't know how to describe it, but there's substance to it, there's weight to it. He's, like, kind of wandering around doing silly nonsense, but, like, when he is talking, it's, I don't know, very, like, dark? Not dark, but, like, his voice is very serious.
He has gravitas.
That's the word, thank you! That's the word that I was dancing around.
There's range there. He's playing these two different sides of the character and switching between them very nicely.
I expected to spend an entire serial being like, one's gone, I'm sad. But almost immediately I was like, okay, this is great and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, you know what line completely sold me on him? Ben, shortly after this scene, Ben says some sort of like deduction thing, which is very obvious. But the Doctor's like, congratulations, Ben, you used your brains. And I laughed so hard. Because we don't like Ben.
I don't know if you've been able to pick up on that at all. We've been really subtle about it so far.
I agree. You know, I can't say I disagree because I think Ben is a fucking shitty character. You know how people fucking hate Kennedy on Buffy? Like, I don't hate Kennedy. I can see the problems with Kennedy. Kennedy is a pushy character and kind of a brat, etc., etc. But the way people dislike Kennedy, I can totally see how that would have made sense for a character like Ben. Because Ben is, like, he is just shit.
I got annoyed at him, like, in this serial particularly, just because he spends the whole thing shouting, and it doesn't matter who he's talking to, but he's like, but you can't, but the Doctor says the Daleks are bad, and where's Polly? I don't like what's happening. Let's go back to the TARDIS. And it's like, can you have a different anything? A different emotion, a different face? Like, please stop shouting all your lines.
There's not a whole lot to like about that guy.
But, okay, so they're testing the Dalek, and then the Doctor comes in and tries to science bro up with Leatherface and...
Leatherhead.
Leatherhead, there you go. He proceeds to, like, fuck around with the switches and stuff, the power source of the Daleks.
Turning it down.
Just trying to fuck the Dalek up, basically. And then the Dalek tries to shoot the Doctor. The Dalek must fire, but has no gun. The Dalek tries to shoot him without his gun, but it just goes like his, like, missing appendage. That was creepy. Because he's like, stay, you're still in my power, and he tries to kill him, but, like, doesn't have anything there. But then we find out that Janley and Bragan are... Janley is Lesterton's assistant, and she's teamed up with Bragan for this whole revolution thing. To be honest, the politics in this episode...
Don't make...
I tuned out a lot, but...
I've never felt like I had a good handle on the situation.
I had a hard time figuring out Janley, what she was about, and Bragan, and Lestbridge Stewart.
Well, I understand.
Janley have a whole conversation about not caring about the revolution, but she was just working with them.
I don't know.
I think they didn't care about the soldiers that we meet later, because they're just using them to overthrow the old guy.
No, it's Bragan. Bragan's like a straight up dick. So.
Yeah, but Bragan and Janley have this whole conversation about, like, the revolution, and she's like, well, you're the one who has me working with them. And that was the point where I was like, well, I'm confused now. I don't understand what anyone's motivations are.
Like, the whole Dalek stuff is very interesting. The whole revolution thing, not as much.
I don't know.
And it's been done
just
so many damn times.
Because we can't. We're not getting enough information because it doesn't exist. And so we're like,
There's a whole lot of flip-flopping, too. Because, like, it's like, these are the rebels. But then, like, spoilers, Bragan becomes governor. But then he's like...
He straight up murders...
Yeah, the other governor.
The previous governor with a Dalek.
But then he's like, oh, but the other rebels that were helping us, well, we know they're rebels and not to be trusted, so we gotta kill those rebels. And then the rebels are like, well, fuck you, no. So it's just this whole back and forth thing that's just confusing and unnecessary, and it should have just been...
Because they're rebels and they'll never be any good.
The whole thing should have just, I feel like, should have been an invasion, like the Dalek invasion thing. That's creepy and good on its own. It doesn't need this whole convoluted revolution plot.
So where did we leave on this episode?
Polly is trying to find the doctor, gets directions from Janley, and then...
Janley's like, yeah, go in this non-suspicious room over there.
And Polly proceeds to do so and immediately she gets chloroformed, and they're like, well, we're going to keep her hostage so that we can have some leverage over the examiner / the doctor. So the guy that drugs her, his name is Valmar.
Bilmar.
Janley gives Valmar the Dalek gun. The Dalek gun stick.
That is what it's I think they call it gun stick.
Gun stick and sucker stick.
Yeah, and Tom Baker referred to the eye stalk as an eye stick in the in the thing.
That's weird. But yeah, she's basically like, hey, this will help the revolution. We'll kill lots of people with this. Great.
It's like, I'll get on that. Then we get a scene that's very reminiscent of the War Machines, of Ben being worried about Polly and the doctor just not giving a shit.
He's just being like, she's clever. She'll be fine. There's very little concern.
And Ben is overly concerned at all times. That becomes his sole thing now is, where's Polly? Are we going to save Polly? What's up with Polly? We got to find Polly. Is Polly okay? I don't know. Is Polly.
It's not that. It's, where's Polly? I don't know where Polly is. Can someone please tell me where Polly went? He's got to shout. But there's this weird scene where the doctor's like pondering something and he's asking Ben, and Ben's like, he's like, what about Polly? And she's like, no, Polly's pretty clever, but she couldn't answer this question. And I'm like, if Polly can't answer it, Ben can't answer it. Why are you asking Ben?
So then we get the Daleks building getting the materials from Lesterton and stuff. That all happens now. And they're going to make something, blah, blah, blah. Then
I think the scientist is starting to realize, why did they ask for more materials?
Well, I don't think just, he's like all excited about it at this point. The doctor finds out, like, Bragan is talking to the doctor, and the doctor pretty much figures out that Bragan is the murderer. He's the guy that murdered the examiner.
Oh, because Bragan's like, I'm going to tell people that you're an imposter.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's only one way you can know that I'm an imposter, and that's that you're a murderer. And they're basically both are like, well, neither one of us wants to expose the other, because we don't know 100% for sure that they're going to trust us, so we'll just leave it for now.
And that's when they get the ransom note about Polly after that, too.
In case you're wondering why I'm not talking right now, it's because this is the part where I zoned out both times. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not following the story at all at this point. I don't know what's happening.
That's why we're filling in the gaps.
Yeah.
It's all that political bullshit. But that's pretty much the end of episode 3. And
is that they've got that Polly's been kidnapped.
And now we're into episode 4, which I'm calling Leader of the Daleks. The Daleks are all like, yeah, we're doing shit. We're awesome. Aren't we, Lesterton? You like us. And Lesterton shuts him down. And he's like, I'm in control.
Like, I just want to remind you, I control your power. I'm in charge of you. Just remember that.
Keep that in mind. The doctor is still just trying to get people to listen to him. And then that's when the waiter Dalek shows up.
The Maitre'Dalek.
Then Ben and the doctor are walking down the hallway shortly thereafter, and they see 3 Daleks going down the hallway, and he's like, what the shit?
Why is there a 4th Dalek?
There was only 3, now there's 4.
That's bad.
Hi-ho! Hi-ho!
So then Lesterton finds out that the Daleks used all of the materials. He doesn't know what for. He's freaking out. He finds out that Fresno is dead, which causes him to freak out more. He's like, why did you not tell me this?
Yeah.
Why did you just tell me he was unconscious? And she's like, oh, it was interfering with your work.
She said, this was too important. If you might have stopped working on it, and we need this for the revolution.
And he's like, this is fucked up. No. And then she sedates him, because she's like, calm the fuck down. you're going to screw things over. Janley and Valmar are laying power cables for the Daleks because they know there's going to be more of them and they need a better power supply, blah, blah, and they're going to help them win the revolution. Which sounds like a great plan.
Well, you say you want a revolution.
There's this ongoing thing which I never fully understood, but there's like this notice.
It's a coded message to the Doctor.
Or to somebody else. I'm not sure who.
Oh, yeah.
But the Doctor figures it out. And he's like, it's like an anagram. And Ben goes, I never was good at crosswords. Just when I think I can't like you less, you say something you keep saying stupid things. An anagram is not a goddamn crossword.
And the coded message tells them to go where? Tells them what?
To go somewhere, and then they go there. It was like Rocket Room 6 or something.
Is this when they get locked in a thing?
Yes. Probably.
They go back to the capsule.
I believe so, and they do get caught, and the Doctor gets put in a cell, and he talks to Quinn. Quinn's also in the cell.
When you say he gets caught, they arrest him for being the imposter. For being an imposter.
For being an imposter, yeah.
What's-his-face is like, well, he probably killed him, too. And they're like, we don't know. We'll just arrest you until we can figure it out.
Because you don't believe it, you're right.
That is a Boingo reference. I am pleased. I am very happy right now. That's a good reference. So the doctor's in this cell, and he starts blowing a dog whistle. Toni didn't figure this out. I figured it out like almost immediately. He's trying to match the tone that the cell door's lock is, so he can unlock it.
I didn't realize that's how the lock works.
See, my thought was this is the genesis of the concept of the sonic screwdriver. Because he's manipulating sound waves in order to change the situation. Yeah, unlock something, basically. So, in that sense, he's basically creating a makeshift sonic screwdriver. But is he blowing a dog whistle?
He starts by blowing a dog whistle, and then later he's using glasses of water.
Yeah, because that's what I remembered, where he was rubbing the edge of the glass of water.
Yeah, that's in the next episode.
Who's the first Doctor to have the screwdriver? Is it 2?
I think it's 3. I think it was Pertwee.
But then he's stuck in the cell. Lesterton awakes, and then he stumbles into the capsule, and that's when we see the Dalek being made.
All of them.
An assembly line of...
Just shit tons of Daleks, you guys. Just shit tons of them.
There's they're putting the thing, the Daleks inside the thing.
We had a weird animation for that, and it was kind of cool.
Then they say the thing, which is what I'm titling the next episode.
Yes!
So they gather, and they're like, we're the Daleks, and we're fucking badass. Exterminate! And then they say...
Exterminate, annihilate, destroy.
Which is the name of the next episode, episode 5, because that's the end of episode 4.
Exterminate, annihilate, destroy. Exterminate, annihilate, destroy.
Who does that song? Have you heard that song, Vince?
I may have. Brodersand?
Yes. I knew it started with an R.
I think I may have heard it at some point.
But I assume that this is the episode that comes from.
No, it definitely is. I got all pleased when it happened.
It comes from a missing serial.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, they may have said it again.
He says it like the same cadence.
I was gonna say, when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's the song!" Like it was like immediate recognition. So I feel like this is what it's from.
This is episode 5, Exterminate, Annihilate, Destroy, and Lesterton from this point on is just a complete fucking mess.
He's messed up. He has realized that he fucked up, and it's messed with his head.
His performance at this point goes in a different direction.
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
It was ridiculous. I don't know. It was fun.
This is what follows when you're working in your lab late one night.
Why did you say that so many times? We were watching the episode, and every time the word laboratory would scroll across the screen, he would do that. Every time. Probably like a total
working
of
in my lab late
5
one
times.
night.
Why?
I don't know. It's just it's stuck in my head.
The Dalek demands to know why.
Probably because I listened to a Halloween. I listened to a Halloween. I will say why. Just let me answer, damn it.
Explain.
I listened to a Halloween episode of Comedy Bang Bang, which a character says that like 7 times, so it gets stuck in your head. I was working in my lab late one night. So it's all Bang Bang's fault. Yeah, but yeah, he goes completely bonkers. Stuff happens. We get the glass water
Yeah.
The glass, he uses the glass to unlock the lock. Opens it up, they get the doctor out, and they lock the other guard in, but spill his water so he doesn't use the same
So
thing.
he can't just get out that way. The scientist, like, comes to see the doctor, who's, like, locked up still, and is like, you were right! You were super right! The Daleks are bad! And, like, the other, like, the guard around there doesn't seem to, like, care.
Yeah, he's just paid to watch people. He doesn't give a shit.
Because, like, that doesn't get the doctor out of jail. He's like, well, alright, he's talked to you, he can...
Well, like, it's not like the guard has any sort of judge, you know.
I mean, sure,
Always.
but, like, you'd think he'd be more concerned. Like, you were right, they're reproducing, there's lots of them. And the guard's like, alright.
This guard probably doesn't know anything that's going on, to be honest. He's probably like, what the fuck's a Dalek?
That's true. Alright, that's fair.
It is Dalek mating season.
What is the Dalek mating process like?
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
You saw it on the program.
It's just an assembly line?
Basically, there's a machine.
That sounds very mechanical.
Well, they're Daleks.
There's an element of cloning and an element of building.
I'm glad that we have two guests on today.
I am too.
But the Janley has taken Polly and left her with the Daleks and Valmar, who are laying the cables.
Which she doesn't really explain who Polly is. She just sort of drops her off with the
Well,
rebels.
Valmar knows who she is already. He's the one that drugged her.
But I'm saying, the other rebels, she just, like, drops him off with them and is like, hey, she's just causing too much trouble. And they're like, alright, we'll
But-
keep an eye on her.
But she like questions their masculinity and then says something about you're not like a real man.
Yeah.
Like Ben.
Which offends Joe to his core.
Ben will save me is basically what she says. And it's just nope.
Yeah, I mean that's that. I was like, that is the dumbest shit anybody has said on this show so far, and it wasn't even said by Ben.
It's like the show's like Ben. And we're like,
Please,
no.
we won't do
We
it.
just won't do it. And then Polly tells everything. Like, we came in here and this is what happened and everything. And then they're like, don't care.
We got a revolution to win, so
Let's get on to them cables. War shit starts happening.
I was
It's
gonna
about to start happening.
the political stuff is kind of, you're like, I don't know, and then the story stops being about the Daleks for a little bit, so I don't really know what happened. It's not as interesting, so
Bragan assassinates the governor.
yeah, this is the point where that happens. He has a Dalek assassinate the governor.
Oh, which leads to like a kind of chilling line. He gets the Dalek to kill the governor, and the Dalek says, "Why do human beings kill each other?"
Why do human beings kill other human beings?
Yeah, and he says it kind of sad like, and you're like, shit.
Like, if
You gotta-
a Dalek is questioning your ethics, you fucked up.
But then again, we have in later instances, at least, seen Daleks kill Daleks.
Have we?
Well, in Victory of the Daleks, the old Daleks get killed by the new Daleks because they are inferior, and I don't believe that's the last time that's happened. It may have been the first time. I don't know.
But yeah, it is, like, the delivery that's given is like, I don't know! But now I'm super upset about it.
It just chills you to the bones. I don't know why I sounded like a pirate when I said
I don't know.
It just chills you to the bones.
And then I have a note that says 2 times as useful, which I remember being really funny when we watched it, but I now have no idea what it's in reference to.
The Dalek is 2 times as useful as Ben.
No, the Dalek says we will be 2 times as useful.
Yeah.
Useful. We will be 2 times as useful. Not powerful, not evil, totally helpful and useful. That's what I was going to say.
Then they save Polly, they find the governor, they get caught.
Is this the governor? The guy who wants to be the governor, or just the governor?
Well, the guy who wants to be the governor has achieved his goals. He is now the governor.
Okay, so he's the governor at this point.
And this is also the point, I believe, where he's like, all right, kill all the rebels because we can't trust them. And Janley's like, all right, I'll go tell them. Or she's like, she doesn't want to.
This is episode 6, by the way, which I don't have a title for.
The governor tells Janley, kill the rebels. And she's like, I don't really want to do that. And he, like, pulls a gun on her and is like, well, you will. And she's like, okay, I will. And then she goes back to the rebels and is like, hey, fuck this guy. He's rude.
And Valmar helps Ben out, and it's just like, why? It's like, because I don't know.
None of us know why we're doing anything
we're
anymore.
doing what we do.
It says so in the script.
We're just trying our best. We don't know what that is today.
There's just a whole lot of fighting, and...
As I say, yeah, basically at this point, like, the revolution is happening, so Daleks are killing,
everyone.
Well, they're not killing everyone at first.
Yeah.
They're fighting for the revolution at first.
Yeah, and Janley and Valmar are using the Daleks to kill the other people, and then they start killing their own people, and they're like, what the fuck? No!
Even though literally everyone's told them that this is what's going to happen. The Doctor has straight up been like, hey... Don't use them to fight in your revolution. They're going to kill everyone. That's just what they do. And they're like, yeah, but our revolution though. But we want it.
And then it's at this point that Lesterton goes so far. He's no longer scared. He's now like,
I for one welcome our new Dalek overlords.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Daleks are a better life form, a more evolved life form than humans, and they're taking over, and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
Yeah, he's basically saying they're the new species. They're replacing us.
They're replacing us, and there's nothing we can do about it. But welcome our new Dalek. I think there's at one point where he comes up to a Dalek and he goes,
I am your servant.
And the Dalek's like, we don't need a human servant, so...
He says it even in the exact same voice as the Dalek.
He says it exactly like that, yeah.
But at this point, I mean, he's sort of using it as a distraction while the Doctor fiddles with switches and shit.
Oh, that's true.
And then the Doctor fiddles with switches, and then the Daleks are defeated.
He kind of pulls the Donna Noble, which you can't really call it that because this happened first. But that's basically what happens. He fiddles with a bunch of switches until all the Daleks blow up. And they blow up.
They explode.
Like, a lot.
Also, before this happened, Janley was murdered. Was killed by the Daleks. After the Daleks explode, Bragan's freaking out and is trying to kill Quinn. But Valmar comes in and shoots Bragan.
Yeah.
Before Bragan can shoot Quinn.
This is the stuff to me that is like
interesting. All the bad people die, and the morally great people, some of them die, some of them don't. And then then it's all over.
It's over, and they go back into the TARDIS.
Well, first the Doctor's like very confused, and they're like, "You did it! You did the stuff!" And he's like,
"Oh, because he gets knocked out."
Did I do that?
When he's messing around with the switches, he gets knocked out somehow.
Yeah, because it like blows back when he.
Yeah.
Wait, are we already at the end of part 6?
Yes.
Yeah.
We blew through 5 and 6.
What was the title of part 6?
I just called it The Power of the Daleks. I didn't have a title for it. They start getting mad at the Doctor because, like, you destroyed our power source. Like, we have nothing now.
Like, you might have
fucked up everything.
You might have saved us from the Daleks, but you've, like, totally screwed us over. You've, like, all the, like, damage you've caused. And the Doctor gives an excellent line. One of my favorite lines so far. You want to say it?
Oh, I don't know it. You say it.
You don't know it?
Is it let's get out of here before they bill us?
I think we should get out of here before they try and bill us for this. And he's just like, alright, well, saved you from the Daleks. Sorry I fucked up all your shit. Bye.
And then he laughs all the way to the tower.
He does, though. And I think it's great. I love it. And I'm just so excited. I'm very excited for 2.
We kind of skimmed over the part where static electricity was a major plot point.
Oh, yeah, we totally did, yes.
Well, that's what the whole cables thing is for, is to convert it to static electricity or whatever.
They're saying, like, we can convert this electricity into static electricity, which is weird, because why would you do that? But...
Yeah, that seems like it's converting it into one thing only to convert it back into the... Seems like a weird detour.
So that's the power of the Daleks.
That's the power of the Daleks.
Oh, are we ready for final thoughts?
We did it.
Final thoughts!
I would like to hear the Daleks' final thoughts first.
I am a Dalek.
Yes, Dalek. What are your final thoughts on this serial?
Exterminate?
So you didn't care for it then?
I am a Dalek. I do not care for anything.
How do you feel about the fact that the Doctor there just destroyed all of your little bros and sisses?
Just blew them all up.
Just blew them up. Blew your people up.
I am a Dalek. I have better things to do than to feel. I annihilate. Destroy. Exterminate.
Did you annihilate, exterminate, and destroy the film? Because this is a missing serial. Are you the reason behind this? Are you behind the junking of all of the classic Doctor Who episodes that no longer exist?
I plead the fifth on that one.
Vince, you should take him down because he has caused a great travesty in the classic Q community.
The Classic Hugh community?
The Classic Hugh?
Classic Who community.
The
Sorry.
Classic Hugh community. Is this about Hugh Laurie? Or is it a different Hugh? Hugh Grant, maybe? Who's the Classic Hugh?
I'd say Grant's probably more classic. I feel like more people know who Hugh Grant is. I mean, say before House.
In America, maybe. Anyway, what were you talking about? The Classic Hugh community?
Yeah, you need to stop that Dalek.
How do I stop a Dalek?
Are you guys like
Are you guys like roommates?
What's the situation there?
What, here? No, the Dalek is in the internet, and I'm in the internet. And you're in the internet. We're all in the internet. We're all in this together.
I don't know how the Dalek feels about us all being together.
I have better things to do than to feel. I am a Dalek.
Vince, would you like to give us your final thoughts?
I mean, this serial is long. It's a little longer than it needs to be for this story. I mean, there's not enough plot for 6 episodes, really. It felt very stretched out, and it felt a little draggy in the middle. Like, I didn't quite keep my attention, and that might have been partially because it doesn't exist. So I definitely had a hard time following parts of it. There were bits where I zoned out and didn't know what was happening. But that said, the bits that work really well. And I think Patrick Troughton is doing an excellent, like, he's coming out swinging. Is that a
Yeah.
term?
That's a saying. That's a thing people say.
Yeah, he hits the ground running. Is that a thing?
Also a thing, yes. Swinging and running.
Right off the bat, he is running and swinging as he hits the ground and comes out. I don't know. It's mixed metaphors. Anyway, so like right off the bat, is that a baseball thing as well?
Sounds like it probably is.
And he hits it out of the park right off the bat. So I think it's a great like first appearance of a new Doctor. I think he's right away you like him, which I think is like I didn't know what to expect because I haven't seen a whole lot of Second Doctor. I haven't seen a whole Second Doctor serial. I still haven't because I haven't seen this one because it doesn't exist. But I've seen the Second Doctor in like clips and in the 5 Doctors, I think it was, and stuff like that. So I've seen him around, but I haven't like followed him through a serial before. And I really enjoyed Patrick Troughton here. I think he brings a lot to the show, and I think he brings a different energy than Hartnell did, which gives the show a different feel, which I think is a good thing when you bring in a new Doctor. Any regeneration, it's like you bring in a new feel to the show without necessarily like ruining anything or making it better. It just brings something different. I think he does that very quickly, and I think while he isn't necessarily competent through the entire episode, like there's very obviously things he could be doing that he doesn't do to solve the problem, but he's very likable and he's very enjoyable and he's very fun, and I enjoyed those aspects, and I really liked the scientist. Yeah, I liked the bit where the scientist just lost it. But I didn't like Ben, and I didn't like the draggy bits.
I like the serial a lot, and I think I've mentioned like almost every cliffhanger I was like, oh my, like got me. Where sometimes, it's a cliffhanger and you're like, all right, I guess the episode's over, so they had to do something. Almost every single one this serial, I was like, this is bad. This is bad. I'm creeped out. I don't like what's happening, and I need to watch more.
Yeah, the Daleks were very effective.
Yes, they were creepy. Like they haven't been creepy in a while.
Yeah, this is probably the best the Daleks have been so far.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Especially since the last few they've been played primarily more for comedy.
Which I like that about the Daleks, is that they can be really creepy, and then you can just kind of like pick them up and toss them around, and it's funny. They can do both those things.
There's nothing funnier than a Dalek dying or like screaming and like
just like
like just powering.
I am in pain. I have better things to do than to be in pain. I am in. Ow! It hurts. Dead.
I don't think
Exactly.
something about like a robotic voice just being like ah. Well, I think it's that they are so creepy and scary, and like they're just like these big, scary killing machines. And then when they're like trudging through like sand or whatever, and they're just like oh man, like grumbling to themselves. It's just like adorable.
I am unable to move in the direction in which I choose to move.
I totally agree that, like, the second Doctor comes on and you like him immediately, which is something I was not expecting. I was expecting to spend a lot of time going, oh, I miss Juan, I miss Hartnell. That, I really think it was interesting that they do choose to, like, he takes a Doctor and he makes it a new character. Or not a new character, but, you know, he plays him differently. That's a very, like, interesting choice that leads to the show, part of what kept the show running for so long.
Yeah, he's, in a way, not just in a way, he rescued the show. The show would have died if this hadn't worked.
But also, like, it really leaves regeneration as this mechanism to keep the show running forever. Like, and the fact that they can do that, and like you said, they can change the show, and yet somehow it's still entirely Doctor Who. Like, there's something about it that remains the same throughout all of it. So I'm talking less about the episode now, and just about Doctor Who as a thing, but it's established here.
There's a lot established here, yeah.
And about the regeneration, there was one thing that they mentioned was that, and it was a brief mention, it was that he needs the TARDIS to regenerate, which I don't know if they've always stuck to.
I feel like almost every time it's been like
near the TARDIS or in the TARDIS.
But other Time Lords have regenerated. Have they always needed a TARDIS?
Yeah, but also the Doctor's weird, like, as far as there being rules for him.
Yeah, but I mean, this regeneration is established here as like a technology that the Time Lords have developed. I mean, they don't say Time Lords, but
it's weird because we've got, like, spoilers for New Who, but River Song stuff.
Oh, you're right. She's not anywhere near it.
No, but she was on the TARDIS while gestating.
She's a TARDIS baby.
To be fair, I like to pretend like none of that happened anyway.
So do you have any more thoughts on any more final thoughts on the Power of the Daleks?
Let's see. Stoked for 2. I cannot wait. I love them a lot already. Daleks were really effective, really creepy. I thought this was a very solid serial as a whole. Yeah, the political stuff was confusing, or like I zoned out during it because it wasn't very interesting. It was like the weakest part of the serial, but it was still really good. Overall, I would say this would have made it in like our Sweet 16.
For my final thoughts, I'm going to say what I think, but I'm also going to compare it to... I made a post on Tumblr ages ago, before we started the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon. I made a post about this serial when I was watching through Doctor Who for the first time. This is sort of a precursor to the Watch-A-Thon, because I was just like, I'm just going to put up my thoughts on Tumblr about what I think of the serials I watch. And then I was like, hey, Toni, we should do this together instead. That'll be more fun. So I'll say...
we do this thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I mean, yeah, this is like the especially since at this point I hadn't seen much New Who, but I feel like this is like establishes a lot of things that do carry on into New Who, because like there's the establishing that the Doctor is kind of more weird, he's more funny, just sort of...
He's definitely alien.
Yeah, and I'd say more jester-like. I don't know, that's not the word I'm looking for, but you know.
I've heard the term cosmic hobo. That's how I've heard people describe too.
Yeah. I do like him a lot, so I love to so far. He's just really good, and I did like the serial a lot. The Daleks are creepy. They haven't been creepy in a while, and they're really creepy this go around. And I mean, yeah, the political stuff is borderline awful. I mean, it's not bad. It's just complicated and boring, and not as interesting as the Dalek stuff. Like if this was just like a small base that got infiltrated by the Daleks, that'd be more interesting. Anyway, here's what my original thoughts were. I just wanted to read these real quick. Power of the Daleks. Just finished the first serial of the second Doctor. Good stuff. I really like Troughton, even though I'm going mostly on voice and picture since the episodes don't entirely exist. And this is the first classic Who episode with the Daleks that I've actually thought the Daleks were scary. They're manipulative and creepy. The scene where they mass-produced was pretty fantastic as well. 2 bits that stuck out to me, though, was when a Dalek is pretending to be a servant to a human and almost slips up. The Daleks are different than humans. Made me laugh pretty hard. The other moment was when one of the bad guys uses a Dalek to kill someone else, and the Dalek says, "Why do human beings kill other human beings?" Which is a good question coming from an evil Dalek. Also, the scientist who brings the Daleks back to life had a really nice arc and was just a really fun character altogether. Wouldn't have minded him becoming a companion. That's
weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird opinion pass, Joe.
The only thing I didn't really care for was where Ben did nothing the entire episode except ask where Polly was, and why weren't they looking for Polly? And yeah, this plot is neat and all, but I haven't mentioned Polly since my last line of dialogue. Not sure how I feel about Ben. Now I know.
You have since cleared
Now
up
I
those
know.
feelings.
Now I know. He reminds me of Steven, but with less of a personality. All in all, though, I really enjoyed this serial. Fun new doctor.
No, Ben has a personality. He's just a dick.
It's just a bad
Yeah.
one.
Fun new doctor, and the Daleks are actually scary. That was my original thoughts. Still pretty much the same. Except I don't know why I wanted Lesterton to be a companion. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's weird. And you didn't know how you felt about Ben, and now you know.
Yeah, now it's concrete. I do not care for him.
Oh, here's a fun fact. Star Trek made its on-air debut in the U.S. on 8th of September 1966, predating transmission of the power of the Daleks by almost 2 months. And although Spock's home planet was referred to initially as Volcanus, it became Vulcan just a few episodes later. The two programs appears to have selected the names independently.
That's weird. I don't trust that. That's some weird fucking shit happening.
Same year.
That's fucking weird.
That is
Something's up there. Coincidences don't happen.
Well, they might have happened as a result of the same thing. Like, they might have heard the word Vulcan somewhere. Like, somewhere else. Like, in the media or something.
No, it's definitely some sort of conspiracy.
Might be the same planet. But where were the Vulcans?
I mean, it's a god, right? Isn't Vulcan like a god or some shit? So that makes sense to name it a planet.
I usually know the answer to questions like that, but right now I'm blanking on it, but you might be right.
It's also a hypothetical planet that
it's
was
a
proposed to
hypothetical
exist in an
planet.
orbit between Mercury and the Sun.
Let's see, Vulcan, mythology. God of fire. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that makes sense to name a planet after a god, because a lot of them are. Vince, it's that time of the program where I ask our guest, how would you do this serial if it was New Who?
Well, I mean, it's Daleks. They've done Daleks on New Who. I mean, in terms of, like, doing follow-ups, I think it's been pretty much done. in terms of doing, in terms of, like, if this didn't exist, and they were to do this story in Modern Who, again, a lot of the ideas have sort of been done in Modern Who.
It's basically Victory in the Daleks, yeah.
Yeah, but better.
I mean, I would, if I was to do it, I would keep it pretty much the same, but cut out all of the political stuff. That would bring you down time-wise, yeah.
Just tighten it a bit, except for the fact that it drags. It could be a Modern Who story. You could just tighten it a lot, and you would end up with like an 11th Doctor serial.
All right, that segment didn't go very well.
Well, this is not necessarily the right serial to ask that question on. There are a lot of serials where it's like there's a new idea that you don't get to see again, and it's like, oh, this would be interesting to see a follow up to, or there's something that could have been done differently or whatever. But this is a pretty, like, except for the fact that the Doctor is incompetent. I mean, I guess the thing I would do differently is I would have the Doctor be a little more adamant to actually explain what a Dalek is to people who don't know what a Dalek is, and then I would probably have somebody go, the Doctor might have a point. This thing said it was a Dalek, and I guess those are kind of plot holes almost, except for their character holes.
Character holes.
Yeah, character hole is like a plot hole, but the characters make no sense.
Character holes sounds like something you'd read in a fanfic. An erotic fanfic. That's been another episode. Thanks for listening. If you like us, go to watchyourasslon.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at watchyourass. If you want to support us, you can go to watchyourasslon.com/support, and there is a Patreon there, which you can just get to by going to patreon.com/watchathon.
Shout out, by the way, to our newest patron, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah, thank you, patron. We will shout you out on the next episode when we remember to look it up. And also, there's an Amazon wishlist there for DVDs if you want to sponsor an episode, and we will shout you out there and put you on the Friends of Rassilon page. Also, feel free to rate and review us on iTunes.
Yes, please. It helps us a lot.
Rate, review, exterminate, annihilate, destroy!
I think we should let the Dalek finish the wrap-up.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vince, anything you want to plug? And then Dalek, you can plug whatever you want to as well.
I would like to plug my Twitter, which is Vincent E.L. And I would like to plug my YouTube channel, which is Swinglish, where occasionally music videos happen and sometimes other things. I have done like vlogs on pop culture. I've done puppet videos a long time ago. So I don't know what might happen in the future on that channel. But the next thing that happens, probably going to be some sort of music thing, probably, maybe, or something. And I still don't have a podcast of my own. I was going to start a podcast, but I got too lazy to edit. So if somebody wants to volunteer to like do free editing on a podcast, then I'm going to start a podcast. Hit me up on Twitter. Check out my band, Ill Eden, which is an international rap collective consisting of 2 people.
Any parting words from the Dalek?
I have nothing but parting words. I will exterminate everything that is not a Dalek.
That's cute.
Daleks are not cute.
Just adorable!
No.
And be sure to tune back in next time when we talk about the Highlanders with special guest Thinking and Gallifreyan. See you guys then. And try not to get exterminated.
Have a tasteful tuna.
Exterminate!